Hi, I'm KR House, and I write fantasy and science fiction.
And I'm Erin, and I write fantasy fiction and poetry.
And today we're talking about Stranger Things. All right, so Stranger Things is done.
It's over.
We've both been watching it since it started. And liked it quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I think we both have different takeaways from and a little bit different opinions on the show and how it ended. So today we're just going to talk about Stranger Things, what it was, what it is, how it left us feeling.
Yep. Us in the waves of all of its seasons and twists and turns.
All the strange things.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I guess we can just get right into it.
Yeah.
Erin, how are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Honestly, I expected to feel a lot more like sadness that it was over than I do, because I think they did gave a lot of closure with the last episode. Regardless of how you feel about how they wrapped it up, they did wrap it up very thoroughly. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little too thoroughly. I still think that scene with the hold on, I'm trying to... The ship names are getting in the way of saying their Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and Robin. The scene where they're on the rooftop, I absolutely could have done without that. But other than that, I'm like, I feel like, okay, I don't necessarily, it's not like one of those where you're like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. It's like they told you everything that was going to happen next.
Yeah. Steve has 6 kids and is a coach for the rest of his life in a small town.
And honestly, that was one of the best endings of his story. I was like, that's good.
It makes sense.
Yeah. What are your main feelings?
I'm conflicted because I've seen a lot of negative talk online about the last episode.
Yeah.
And the whole last season. And
most of which is probably valid.
Yes. But I don't know, I'm a little bit of a contrarian because I liked some of the stuff in season 5 and some of the reveals. And I didn't hate the last episode. But I have mixed feelings on my own opinion because I enjoyed a lot of it quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But my main question is like, is the tone and was the heart of the story preserved? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way where I'm like, I enjoyed it. I wept through the last half of the finale. But I'm like, I like most things I watch. I'm fair. Just like, this is what you've presented to me and I am entertained. That's great. But I was like having to stop looking at the memes and stuff afterwards because people were ripping it apart and I was just like, you're right, but also some of y'all are I don't know. It was just weird how it was there were pieces of everyone's argument that I was like, there are just problems kind of everywhere. Yeah. But at the same time, it still was good to watch. I still, a lot of people had criticism about the volume 2 of the last season. I was like, I didn't think anything bad about it until I saw people talking about it.
Well, but you disliked the Abyss.
The Abyss. Oh, right? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That happened and I was like, oh gosh, but I really liked the idea of the Upside Down just being a different place. The fact that it was more like a mechanism, or not a mechanism, but more like it wasn't its own thing. It was only there to be useful, I guess. I liked the idea of it being a different world. And I really think, I think I might have just made too much of an assumption that was the case. And they kind of make that point, everything we thought we knew about it is not true. But
yeah, they had presented it as if it was just this other mysterious world.
Yeah, I think that it would have maybe been better if they had hinted at that at literally any point ever, unless that just wasn't written yet. But I just thought it kind of felt like pulling the rug out from under you in a way that wasn't good. Yeah. To say oh, actually, this is a wormhole. And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of those things I have mixed feelings on it. Because I was watching it with my husband, and when they were like, it's a wormhole, we were like, oh my God. Well, me more specific. He was like, oh, and I was like, oh. I was like, that's so cool. Because I love when they're like, oh, surprise, everything was wrong. It's this instead. Right. Just because I just find that really I'm like, ooh, a surprise. I love that. A twist. I love twists. Probably. But just because it's a twist doesn't mean it's good. So that's where I'm conflicted with my opinion, because I love that they explained what it was. Mm-hmm. And I loved that there was this other dimension, this bigger other world where the Mind Flayer came from. I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it permanently, like, I don't know if it messed up the tone.
Like, I think that's how I felt about it. Is like, it felt like a lot of the mystery was gone, but not in a, like, your questions are answered way. But I also don't know how to explain the way that it did feel like it was. Well,
because, like, I think in the first season, it's, like, very 80s and very small scale. It's like these kids, and there's a mysterious lab, and there's this mysterious other world. And, like, but everything feels very, like, limited to the town of Hawkins. Mm-hmm. And then in season 5, the stakes have elevated to, we're saving the world from merging into another dimension.
Yeah.
And I don't inherently hate that. I know a lot of people do, but part of me wants to like it, but the other part of me is like, but was that faithful to the heart of the story? And I just don't know if it was.
Yeah, and I think what kind of furthers that is the fact that at the very end of season 4, they suggested that Vecna was trying to do something that was a little bit more on the scale of the world's going to end, but it was starting with Hawkins, like, literally cracking apart. And it was still more centric, and it was just like, he was in the Upside Down at that point, and that felt a lot simpler and a lot easier to accept, I think, and it fit the tone that they had been building toward, at least.
Yeah.
And I guess it just kind of felt like the wormhole world ending fit the tone of season 5, but season 5 was just such a hard vibe shift.
Maybe okay, hold on, I'm thinking 2 different things here. With the cracks, I feel like maybe if the thing they had to fix was connected to the cracks, that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Because, like, at the end of season 4, they're like, oh my gosh, like, Hawkins is literally cracking apart. Mm-hmm. And then in season 5, they're like, there's these weird cracks. But the actual, they're like, oh no, but the actual threat is this other universe being pulled at them through the sky. Mm-hmm. So it's not actually, so, like, what was the point of the cracks?
Yeah.
But I loved, as, like, a scene, I loved the exploring the lab and seeing the melting stuff and the exotic matter. That was really freaky to me. And I feel like it also had, like, I feel like that was an expansion of the world without a loss of the tone.
Yeah.
But I don't know if, like, maybe it then went too far. Like, maybe it should have been that, like, Vecna wanted to make the world into the Upside Down instead of merging, or, like, letting the Mind Flayer's physical body enter Hawkins through the cracks instead of this whole, like, we're going to merge the worlds. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I agree that the lab was a lot more interesting than the Vecna stuff. As far as, like, what is going on. And that felt more, probably because the lab is so familiar at that point, like, of a setting. But if that had been more of the explanation, like, I think I might have been happier. I don't know. Yeah. Because it's just like they had been building that the whole time of, like, people are messing with things they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of just irresponsibility, maybe nefarious meddling, like, happening with this specific lab, this specific connection to this place. Now, I know earlier I said, like, they hadn't hinted at the abyss. I know the play gives other information, and then they do show 11, like, sending Henry to a place that is not clearly the Upside Down. So, like, they do hint at that. So I'll take that back a little bit. But that had, like, just happened. It was almost like they just kind of, like, added that in, which that may not be true. But like,
it feels like
the lab just felt so much more like, this is what we've been dealing with the whole time. We're not just like introducing a new thing. If the lab, with all the, like, even though that was new with, like, the exotic matter, like, that was still easier to be like, oh, than the abyss.
I feel like the introduction of the exotic matter shifted the story from paranormal horror, light paranormal horror, to light cosmic horror, which feels like an easier transition than light paranormal horror to ultimately, like, sci-fi, like action sci-fi, because like at the end they go to literally just fight this monster in space.
Yeah.
So if like they had to physically defeat it, which felt much more like action adventure sci-fi.
Yeah, and I think that it's been arguably sci-fi the whole time.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, it's like I don't always need all my sci-fi to be explained. And a lot of what was going on in that season almost just felt like an over-explanation in a way. Like, it was just like, it makes so much sense that it feels a little corny.
Have you seen all those memes where they're like, how the Stranger Things characters explain anything, and they're all like, imagine this notebook is the upside down, and this phone is 11, and we've got to get her into the upside down, or something, and they're like, how they do it like 15 times, which is not really a critique on the plot, just that's more of the dialogue, but it is funny because it is true. They are always like, imagine this and this and this, Though I did love when they gave Steve one of those moments.
I was like, he needs to be smart for a second.
I'm like, he's not just some good hair and a fighter. He's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see, though, the thing where it's like that bat's gone forever because it was in the trunk of his car?
Oh.
And his car got sucked into the thing.
Forever.
I was like, dang, that bat was a character.
It was a crucial part of the story.
Did you have any more specific thoughts about the finale?
Yes, I did. Sorry. I did. And I lost it, and now I have it again. I liked that Vecna was not the ultimate villain.
Yeah. I liked the fight with the Mind Flayer.
Yeah, I liked that he was not the one because like before, because like seasons 1 to like 3, it's like the Upside Down and the Mind Flayer, and it's like super creepy. Yeah. And then like 4 and 5, right? 4 is where they introduced Vecna. Yeah. So like 4 and 5, it's like, oh, actually, it's this guy who was a super person, like 11, and he got mutated, and it's just a human who's the villain. And I like that they were like, oh no, the Mind Flayer was manipulating him all the time. And that scene where he's like, they reveal the memory, and like that guy's acting that was also such a good scene.
It was, yeah. I also really like that is the route they went with Vecna, where he said, no, I was not being manipulated. I was this the entire time, which I'm conflicted about that, because I think we kind of talked about this with when we did the more like villains-centered video, but it's like, it almost, I don't know, there are just so many stories, maybe recently, where it's like the villain has their like moment at the end where it's like, it's not their fault, and they change or something like that, or maybe they sacrifice themselves, and that is good. I think ultimately, like, you want everyone to like make a choice of being like, no, I have done something bad, and I'm not going to continue to do that anymore. But I just really appreciated that they like looked that full in the face and said, no, he made those choices, and he like acknowledged like, no, this is just, I don't like they didn't like undermine all that build up, and they just said, no, this is who he is. And
even if he didn't originally choose evil, by like he made a very conscious decision at the end of the story to choose evil. Yeah, and it's like you kind of get a little bit of an indication in the first memory that like maybe, when he's got the rock, like, yeah, maybe there was a little more aggression that was necessary, but I mean, it's not necessarily like it's self-proof that he would have done that, but yeah, they just really like brought that home in the end. They're like, no, that's just it. Yeah, I liked that too.
The fight with the Mind Flayer, I didn't realize what was happening until I think I saw like the video reposted or something, but Lucas has been using that wrist rocket the entire time.
Do you seriously want to fight the Demogorgon with your wrist rocket?
With the tennis balls, where he like pulls it. He's used that in so many different seasons. Also because when Nancy gives, Mike has the whole like, why can't I have a gun? And she gives him the flare gun. Lucas had like soaked him in gasoline, I think. I think that's what they were trying to show, or maybe it wasn't. But he would shoot him, and then Mike shot the flare gun at it, and then it caught fire, and that's what was actually hurting the Mind Flayer. And I was like, that was such a small thing, but I was just like, that. Awesome.
A Chekhov's gun, but it's Lucas's.
I was just like, thank you for letting Lucas have that.
Yeah. He's a good character. Yeah. I like him. Best romance in the show.
Absolutely.
Lucas and Max.
Absolutely.
I love them.
Yeah. biggest question of the finale. Is she dead?
I don't know. I was very confident when we watched this. We watched this with a group of people, and the opinions were, I'm going to say opinions were divided, but I think I was the main one on the side of she's definitely alive. And a lot of people were like, no, she's definitely dead. But I was like, why would you put this in here if she's not alive? And the whole like, where she's like, oh, you'll understand, Mike. You have to explain it to them. Yeah. I'm like, that felt like a good clue. And the fact that, what's her name? Kali had a change of heart. Yeah. About the fact that 11 needed to die. Like, I believe that Kali, if she could have, would have helped her escape. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? What side are you on?
When we watched it, I was on the she's dead side. Yeah. However, this is a little bit influenced by other people on the internet, but I have seen enough things where people pointed out other details that I think I've switched sides. I think based on those things, there is plenty of reason to think that she is alive. As a satisfactory plot point, though, I'm like, the stakes were so high that it just seems a little bit, I don't know. It's like, I obviously don't want her to be dead. Right. But I'm also just like, but I agree that it's not like, it shouldn't have been a bloodbath. That's not what it was, but it just kind of seems like it was too easy.
I think, okay, of characters to die, I think Hopper dying would have made sense.
Well, yeah, because they faked it out like every season.
Yeah, I think Hopper, but that's also the issue is like Hopper and Max are two characters that would have made a lot of sense to die, but they've both had like several death fake outs. Yeah. And so you couldn't really.
And Max was way more influential to the plot this season too. Like, I think it's good that she made it out.
I think, I think Hopper dying could have made sense. I think Joyce dying could have made sense. Yeah. Because her whole thing she had that conversation with Will where she's like, I didn't do enough, like you were taken. And I was smoking and watching trashy TV. Yeah. Like, it would have made sense for her to like throw her, like, you know, it almost could have been a redemptive moment for her where she's like, no, I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect my son.
Right. Because that's what she had been doing the whole, like, in the other seasons, of course, after the point she's talking about. But, like, as soon as he was gone, that was like, the essence of her character was doing everything she could to figure it out.
Will! What is wrong with my boy?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I do think it is very 80s movie, though, for, like, the one magical character to disappear. And life goes back to normal for everyone else. Like, that does feel like a very 80s, like, wrap up. Like, they all lived, they all went their separate ways. Like, like, you could almost, like, even though they didn't do this literally, but it's like, you could have had on the screen, like, you know, sometimes they do little pictures. And like, you know, Dustin went on to NYU or wherever it was they all go. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that it had. Which I kind of think that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that the finale was, like, 50% wrap up. And I was like, y'all, of course it was.
I loved the D&D scene at the end.
Yes, it was really good.
I liked that.
Yeah. I liked Mike's story too. Like, that was, I know we already, like, on the side talked about this, but the fact that they kind of, like, sidelined him a little bit, maybe they didn't actually, but, like, after season 2, his participation just felt less. But then the fact that his story ended the way it did, it was like, that, I don't know, that felt like a good, like, justice to the character. Yeah. Of just like, oh, and now you're going to go on to, like, be the one that is, like, observing that. I don't know.
No, I think in this season was the season where I could understand why 11 really liked him. Yeah. Because in other seasons, he's a little bit like, just like, I'm the male counterpart. And, like, he doesn't have as many defining traits as the other ones. Yeah. Like, Will is the shy, artsy one, and Lucas is the more outgoing, athletic one. Dustin is the, like, zany, too smart for his own good one, and Mike is kind of just, like, the main one. Yeah. But I feel like in season 5, they were like, no, what he's good at is that he is, like, they show how he is encouraging, how he encourages his sister and comforts her.
Yes.
How he comforts Eleven, how he's a good friend to Will. Like, they really show him they show his strengths, I feel like, really.
Yeah. I think he did have that more as a defining trait in the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
Because, like, I think thinking back to like when they find 11, Dustin and Lucas are like, get rid of her, and he's just like, no, like we can.
Elle's one of us now. No, she's not even close.
I think he drove a lot more of the like them not losing hope in the first 2 seasons, but then after that it was just like there were bits and pieces, like there were scenes where he did that, but especially in season 4, because he kind of starts off when she hits the girl with the skate or whatever, and he goes kind of like accusatory a little bit, which that's brief, but they really like focus on that, and then they have their conversation at the end. But yeah, they don't put him back into like Super Mike mode until like
he was a good character. I thought that all the characters were good.
Yeah.
I really liked Holly and Derek.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. Yeah, I liked Derek and his like tone switching. Like he could just like turn it on and off. It was so funny.
It was really
just like I can go from being like your worst nightmare to delightful Derek. I don't know. It's just like, this is awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Which season was your favorite?
Which season was my favorite? Probably season 1.
Really?
Yeah, I feel it. I don't know. I have only watched the show once, so I don't really remember the distinctions between all the different seasons. But I tend to love the beginnings of shows.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And season 1 was just very good. Like, it's kids, the mystery. I felt like the fact that all the main characters are kids fits really perfectly for like the type of story that they're trying to tell, where it's like everything's very unknown and scary, but they also kind of have this blind confidence that they think they'll be safe.
Yeah.
Like that the 3 boys like genuinely believe that they can save Will, which is like because they're children and blind confidence.
Yeah.
But also like it's very, very scary. I really liked 11 escaping from the lab, like the whole like the lab as like this villain in the background. I think was good. I did also like there's one of them is more I liked the stuff, the MK Ultra stuff. I don't remember what season that's from, but where she finds out about her mom. And
I think that was season 2.
Okay, yeah. I liked season 2 as well. I mean, I liked them all really, but I think season 1 would be my favorite just because I felt like it like really hit the nail on the head for like what type of show they were trying to tell.
Yeah.
How about you? What was your favorite season?
I think Gut Reaction season 4 was my favorite. But when I went back and rewatched it, I was surprised by how defined the tone in season 1 was. Like I forgot, like the feeling of watching season 1 is different from watching the rest of the show.
Oh yeah.
Almost. Like it was so much more unified. It was just like classic what it was trying to be. And it's really good. But I think there were just some elements of season 4 that were just like, personally, I was like, this is what I like to see.
Well, season 4, I agree.
I loved it.
Season 4 has the whole Kate Bush stuff,
which I will say
I loved.
Really?
Oh yeah, well the song saves her and she realizes her friends love her.
That's true.
Like, that's so good.
That was good.
And she's running away.
Yeah,
it's a good scene.
I thought you were talking about Kate Bush specifically.
Oh, I have because of that. I did dip my toes into Kate Bush, and I was like, some songs I'm like, oh, okay, and others I'm like, you know, I'm not a highbrow music person. I don't know if she like. I
know that's what I was like. She's very unique. She's definitely like she has her own sound. But
it feels like she's for people with good taste, and I feel like I know. So I like some of her songs.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no. Obviously,
Max.
That's great. Like, the her being like, oh shoot, people care about me. Like this is yeah.
What else did you really like about season 4?
I know I said that and now I'm hesitating. I think I liked that it kind of, so it's like season 1 and 2 were really kind of like had this kind of just like foreboding sense. And then season 3 just feels so like bright and colorful. And oh my gosh, all this stuff is really just kind of gross. It's still scary, but it's really just like nasty in the way that like the
the rats and stuff. Yeah.
It's just that's the mind flayer to it. It's just gross. But then season 4 brought back like oh no, this is scary. This is like paranormal and this is like really dark. In just a way that it was kind of leaning more over that. I liked the I don't know. I think that's when they started kind of like pulling some of those elements together too, of like, you know, they introduced Vecna, but in a way that like gave more context to everything else. And I liked the characters they brought in. I also like Separate Ways. That Journey song is like a big like childhood favorite song. And so when they were playing it and in the scene they did, I was just like,
what scene is it?
It's like when they're in the RV and they're all like, they're going their separate ways to like go fight Vecna or whatever. And they're all like getting in position, like they're getting to their stations or whatever, but it's like a remix. It's a lot more like they make it sound more like the tone of like all their kind of like techno electric stuff. I don't know.
That is cool.
It just sounded really good. But then, and then, yeah, I just really liked Eddie and the whole like the metal theme
that was good.
I was like, that was really funny. I don't know.
Bring it back to the finale before we, I guess, maybe wrap things up. Yeah. But I liked how Steve pointed out that Eddie's death was not necessary.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Because in season 4, I was like, I was like, this is dumb that he's dead. And I liked that Steve straight up said, like, Eddie knew he had nothing left in Hawkins and wanted to play hero.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Good read. Like, definitely he shouldn't have said it to Dustin when they were in the middle of exploring a dangerous lab and Dustin is clearly upset. But, like, I'm glad that the show addressed that.
Yeah. Honestly, Steve and Dustin and their dynamic and Dustin's, like, arc, his grief and all that felt the most continuous of the things in season 5. I was just like, there was at no point that I was like, why is this happening? Yeah. I was just like, that is 100% appropriate, and they did resolve it well.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess in the comments, we're going to open it. Let us know what you thought. If you liked it, if you loved it, if you hated it, tell us your thoughts. We want to know. People get very... People have a lot of strong opinions about this ending of the show.
They really do.
Let us know what you thought.
Yep. All right.